Now, speaking at the United Nations, India's External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar has made it clear that countries sponsoring terrorism should be held accountable. He said, and I quote, that terrorists have been operating with impunity in Afghanistan and against India. And later, S Jaishankar also spoke to the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken regarding the coordination for the developments in Afghanistan. WION's correspondent Susan Tehrani attended the UNSC press conference in New York. She posed a question to India's Foreign Minister, asking if India will recognize the Taliban, to which Jaishankar answered this. Listen in.
This is Susan from WION News. Will India recognize the Taliban, and what is India's position on the Taliban?
We've had long experiences with terrorism. I specifically mentioned the groups Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Where we go on from now, the immediate issue is repatriation and working with partners, especially the US, as they control the airport. France also took some of our nationals. In terms of longer perspective, we have a relationship with the Afghan people and we will continue with it.
Jaishankar said that terror groups such as Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba continue to have encouragement. He also pressed for a focus on threats from the Islamic State. Jaishankar chaired the UNSC meeting. Now remember, India is the current president of the Security Council. The Indian Foreign Minister warned that ISIS has been expanding its footprint in South Asia. Making an indirect reference to Pakistan, Jaishankar said that some countries have been undermining counter-terror operations.
In our own immediate neighborhood, ISIL Khorasan has become more energetic and is constantly seeking to expand its footprint. This should be taken seriously. Events unfolding in Afghanistan have naturally enhanced global concerns about their implications for both regional and international security. The heightened activities of the proscribed Haqqani network justifies this growing anxiety. Whether it is in Afghanistan or against India, groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed continue to operate with both impunity and encouragement. In spite of the progress we have made to tighten the legal, security, financing and other frameworks to combat terrorism, terrorists are constantly finding newer ways of motivating, resourcing and executing acts of terror. Unfortunately, there are also some countries who seek to undermine or subvert our collective resolve to fight terrorism. That cannot be allowed to pass.
Highlighting India's achievements in peacekeeping efforts, Jaishankar laid out an 8-point agenda to counter terrorism. He said that terror financing watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force, should be strengthened. Jaishankar also called for increased funding to the United Nations Office of Counter-Terrorism.
It is therefore vital that this Council does not take a selective, tactical, or even a complacent view of the problems we face. We must never countenance sanctuaries for terrorists or overlook the raising of their resources. And when we see state hospitality being extended to those with innocents' bloods on their hand, we should never lack the courage to call out this doublespeak. We heard from the briefers of the aggravating impact of the pandemic. What is true of COVID is even more true of terrorism. None of us are safe until all of us are safe.
Our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us a report on the story from New York. Take a look.
Following the high-level meeting on terrorism, India's External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar responded to a number of questions from reporters regarding Afghanistan in particular and reiterated his concern about cross-border terrorism in Afghanistan, mentioning what he said earlier at the meeting that, quote-unquote, terrorism is terrorism regardless of location or name, pointing to ISIL affiliates now possibly being inside Afghanistan. Also, he said India's top priority right now is the repatriation of Indian nationals, also saying that moving forward, he pointed to India's historic relationship with, quote-unquote, the Afghan people in the future. Susan Tehrani from New York for WION World is One.
WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.